Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated, where today I'm speaking with actress Rebecca Metz. So, welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you so much.
And everything stayed the same. We were off camera and we were having some video trouble. So, we were a little concerned that when I hit record, it would mess up, but it didn't. We're
We
still
figured it
here.
out.
We figured it out. We're obviously very intelligent people. That's
Listen,
the lesson I've learned.
we're all being asked to do things in our jobs that are not supposed to be our jobs. I'm like a cinematographer now. I'm a lighting technician. None of this is supposed to be in my skill set.
Well, and are you having to do your auditions at home? Are you doing them all virtually now?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I've never been so tired of my own face. Like, because you do it, you have to watch each take over and over again to decide which one you want to use, and then you have to go edit it. So normally I go to a casting office, I do it, they maybe one or two times, three times, they decide which take to use and I leave. Now I have to rewatch it. I'm so tired of my own acting. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard.
It's all on you now.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have anybody to kind of act off of now. That has to be hard too.
We're also getting very creative. So what I've been doing is we'll like find an actor friend. We have lots of actor friends, but we'll Zoom or FaceTime with them. So I will take my laptop and put it on my cat tree so that it's the right height. And then of course the cats start climbing on it so that it's like shaking back and forth. It's not very professional.
But at least you get that interaction. Kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a miracle I've gotten any jobs this way.
like I could, if I was doing it completely by myself, I would do it 100 times. It still wouldn't be good. Or if I had somebody to act off of, wouldn't help me. So acting's hard.
Thank you. It is hard.
I know.
Now
everybody thinks it's so easy, but it's really not. It's pretty difficult.
My husband was on Jeopardy a few years ago, and they had to they make you do these things called hometown howdies, where you just say like, "Hi, I'm Rebecca Metz and I'm from Los Angeles. Watch me on Jeopardy." Just who you are, where you're from, pretty simple. And these contestants were like, they made them write it down, and they were like, "Why are they making us write this down? It's not complicated." And then he said every single person, once they had a camera pointed at their faces, was like, "My name is Los Angeles. Watch me on Rebecca." Like, fell apart. And I was like, "See, it's harder than it looks."
It's difficult. Well, so how'd he do on Jeopardy?
He won.
Really?
He won one game. It was a runaway. We were very proud. His mother was a Jeopardy champion from when Art Fleming was the host. So it's like a family tradition. He did very well. And then I still hold a grudge against the guy who beat him in the next game, but that's okay.
Well, yeah. We should be, we give him sideways looks and stuff.
Exactly.
Keep an eye on him. So is that the only mother-son duo that Jeopardy has ever had?
I don't know. The weird thing is that they told him not to, they said, "We're not going to talk about it because like we don't like talking about previous iterations of the show." But then I've heard other people on the show talk about their relatives. Yeah. So I don't know. Someone more versed in Jeopardy history than I could answer that question.
I would think that would be pretty rare.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So do you guys battle? Because I know you were on Family Feud. So do you? You're like.
I mean, let's be honest. There's a pretty big prestige gap between Jeopardy and Family Feud in terms of like, intellect. I'm pretty good at Jeopardy. And I have auditioned for it, and my husband is, totally agrees that I should be on it. But I don't know. I'm not great at geography. Certainly not sports. I have some gaps. He was studying lakes and rivers, and he knows all the vice presidents and stuff that I just don't care. I could be on Celebrity Jeopardy because they dumb down the questions. I would kill.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's my plan.
So on Family Feud, did you get your answer right? Did you win the buzzer?
What? So I was last. I didn't get to go up to the buzzer, but we only got one question right, and I'm the one who made sure we got it right. It was a Muppet question. I am a Muppet super fan.
Yeah.
So I was like, I will never be able to live with myself if we get this question wrong. It's the only one we got right in the whole game.
That's all that matters.
Largely
You look
responsible,
good.
so I'm proud.
So do you remember the question? I'll see if I can get it.
Yes, I do. It was, name a thing that Kermit can do that Miss Piggy can't do.
Play the banjo.
Play an instrument. That was what we said. And I'm trying to remember what somebody else on the team wanted to say. And I was like, listen to me. I know the answer. So I was proud.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we went off on tangent. So I usually start with asking you how you got into the entertainment business. What made you want to do that?
Coincidentally, the answer is the Muppets.
Obviously I knew that and was just segueing into it.
I mean, it's a few things really. I was a little kid and in the 70s watching the Muppet Show, and it just looked super fun. And also, my parents are both classical singers, and so they've always performed in choruses. And they would bring me along, while they were performing. I would be running around the back of a theater, kind of exploring all these creepy spaces. And I think I just developed a love for performance and stage and those creepy old buildings, and it just looked like so much fun.
So what did you do through school? Were you in theater, or were you in dance, or did you sing? What did you do?
I was in kind of every performing arts thing I could get my hands on. I was always in choir and chorus. Drama club. I went to arts camps, drama camps in the summer. We had my high school had a magnet program, a bunch of different ones, but I was in the fine and performing arts magnet program. So I started focusing real early. Yeah. Community theater,
so
I get a little obsessive.
Young. Yeah, well, that's okay. That's a good thing with with your profession. That helps.
Yeah, but my mom would not, I grew up in New Jersey, and I don't remember this, but she says that I asked her if I could get an agent and audition for stuff in New York, and she was like, no. Which I think was smart. I think it was smart.
She wasn't having it.
No.
So I see a guitar behind you. Do you play, or is that your husband that plays?
That's my husband's. That's my ukulele.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Neither of us are very good at either, but we like having them there. And once in a while we break them out and try to practice.
I mean, you didn't try to improve that during, the last year when we were all looking for stuff to do.
I didn't, which I guess means I'm never gonna. I've mostly been baking.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think a lot of people have been baking.
Yes.
That's why we have all, doubled in size over the last year.
Yes.
Yeah. I know. We're going to have a forced, everybody has to be outside for a year after this inside year.
I can't wait.
Get back to the pre-COVID weight. For a long time, you couldn't even exercise.
Yeah, I'm afraid that I've always been a bit of an introvert. I've never liked crowds. Never.
Me too.
I'm a little afraid that this has killed whatever tolerance for other people I used to have. I'm gonna, we have to go to events and screenings, and I'm just gonna be like, oh, get me out of here.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think it's really interesting, and I'm saying this because I'm a big introvert, but I spend a lot of my time talking to people on Zoom. But a lot of the actors I talk to are introverts, and I found that very surprising. I think it's, I had to learn this from a good therapist, because a lot of introverts have really good social skills. I'm good at a party. I'm good at talking. I like talking to people. But she explained to me that introverts are people who recharge their batteries by being alone. Extroverts are people who recharge by being around other people. And I can do it. I can do all of the things that you need to do to be in a situation like that. And then I need to come home and be alone for 3 days. Yeah, see, I totally get that, because I'll do these podcasts or I'll work. I work in a hospital during the day, so I'm face to face with people all day. And then I have to have downtime.
Yeah.
Have to, or I can't function. My wife laughs at me all the time when she's not just aggravated that I'm like that, because she's an extrovert.
Yeah.
So she's the opposite, and she gets her energy from doing things. I do not. I have to sit still, preferably by myself, but I'm fine if it's, other people are there as long as everybody's quiet.
Yep.
Watch a TV show or something. That's how I recharge. So I totally get that.
And I think that acting in some ways is well suited to introverts, because a lot of it involves very sort of solo focus, when it comes time to actually do the work, everything gets quiet and you're just focused on whoever you're talking to.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just all the other people you have to be around the rest of the time.
I always tell my wife that. I was like, oh, I'm exhausted. She's like, what'd you do today? And then when I say what I did, it doesn't really sound like I did a whole lot. But I was like, but I had to be on all day.
Yes.
I had to be on. I had to smile and talk to people. It was terrible.
Yep. I hear you. My husband, this whole interview is going to be about my husband. He's, for a long time was a music journalist. And so he got to see a lot of live music, and he would ask me, do you want to come see this? Do you want to come see this? And I was like, it's to see a stadium show, for example, I have to really want to see because just walking there in that sea of people and like fighting to get to your seat and fighting to get out, to go to the bathroom, like that is taxing.
Oh yeah. It's exhausting. I do that with sporting events too.
Yeah.
I always leave early.
Exactly. I'm always like, we have to leave before the end of the encore. And he's like, but it's the encore. And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't leave.
We've got so much in common, because my wife works for Live Nation. So she's constantly taking us to, concerts and shows, and most of them are really good, but it's just exhausting. Like you always ask, hey, you want to go to this show? And I'm like,
He convinced me, we'll get off this topic eventually, but there was a show out here. It was actually called Desert Trip, I think, but people called it Old Cella because it was in the same place as Coachella. And it was like Paul McCartney, Roger Waters, Neil Young. It was a bunch of
pretty good
old people.
Yeah, and that's pretty good though.
He was like, babe, it's perfect for you. There's only 2 bands a night. There's only 1 stage. Everyone's old, and there's chairs.
Ooh,
and we'll be VIP everything. And I was like, okay. And even that, I was like, this is too intense.
Can't take it, Paul. I gotta go.
Yeah, he gets to go to the festivals by himself.
Do you remember what your first professional acting job was?
I think my first professional acting job was either a commercial where I played a nurse, or I played in the old Bill Maher show, Politically Incorrect. He did a sketch during the Clinton scandal where I played Linda Tripp in high school, and I was recording everyone in my locker. And I was wearing a horrible wig. It was
that's dating you a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I was young. I was not her age, but yes, that is dating me a little. Yeah.
I think what I remember, the first thing I remember, you played a nurse in, I'm pretty sure, now I could be wrong because I'm going off memory, but in Angel.
Yes, that's what I thought you were going to say. That's true.
Yeah. So I remember you from that. I've been watching you for a long time because it's like you have done all the shows. You've been on all of them. And it's always good. I love actors that anytime you see them on a show, even if it's just a guest star, you're like, well, it's going to be a good episode.
That's really nice.
It always ups the ante when you're there.
It's so interesting because for a lot of years, I was working full-time day jobs for 17 years while I was doing stuff like that. And so for a lot of years, I was just like, when am I going to get enough work that I can support myself? Like, it was just really hard. And it didn't feel like a good thing that I was on one episode of so many shows. And then you get to a certain point and people were like, you've been on everything. It's so cool. Yeah. And I'm like, I guess cool. It is kind of cool. It didn't feel cool while I was doing it. but
Yep.
it's nice to be able to look back and see
Well,
all of that work.
If you're doing that in a bigger city, especially LA or New York, there's so many people doing, acting, but having to do other jobs, not as big a deal. If you were in West Virginia and your day job and you're like, yeah, I got to take off early today. I got to be on Angel. And you would be freaking out. That would be you're just in the wrong state.
When I came back to work after like Nip Tuck aired,
Yeah.
I came back to work and I was an executive assistant and people were like, what are you doing here? And I just sort of said, how much do you think they pay you for that? It's not enough to pay your rent for more than a month,
You're a star. You don't belong here.
Yeah. I was like, listen, I agree, but that's not what my bank account says.
That's not the way it works.
No.
Do you have a favorite guest star role that you've done?
I mean, it kind of depends on the day. Not all, most of them have had something, wonderful about them. I have to probably say, it would be, Shameless or Better Things because I've gotten to be on those a lot. Yes. But in terms of like stuff I only got to do one or two of, it would probably be Nip Tuck. But again, that was one that I was there for a longer stretch.
Yeah. That was a really good appearance, though.
It was an amazing role for me professionally and also creatively. And also it was just the best crew. I had the best time. Everyone was so kind and supportive. And, it was a scary thing to do.
Yeah.
There was nudity, which I'd never done before. There was all kinds of stuff I'd never done before. And it could
on a TV show back then, that was a big deal on a TV show.
Yeah. And that kind of thing can go badly pretty easily, as you can imagine. But they were so wonderful that I just have nothing but fond memories.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would be just, especially that's where my introvertedness would come out. I would be a nervous wreck.
Not a great.
You want me to do what now?
It's not a great place to have a big introvert day.
Did they clear the set for you at least?
Oh yeah, they always they when you're doing anything like that, they make sure that only the essential people are there, et cetera, et cetera. But I worked on American Horror Story.
Yeah.
I remember, I auditioned for it. I went there. I walked into the room, and this was a scene actually that no one saw because it got cut from the final show. But there was a scene. I play a character who comes face to face with Dylan McDermott, who's a serial killer, of course, and he takes me back to his lair and he's about to skin me alive. So I'm in a bra and underwear strapped to a metal table in this room full of just meat hooks and plastic sheeting, like a murder room.
Yeah.
And I walked in for rehearsal. I saw the set. I walked back to my trailer and I was like, can I leave? I changed my mind. I don't want to do this. I really panicked for a minute. Like, I can't do this.
That probably helped you in the scene.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, we'll never know because I'll never get to see it.
Well, how was Dylan McDermott?
He was fine. I mean, he was trying to kill me, so we didn't have like a super great time on set together. We were like BFFs.
Yeah.
He was fine.
That would be a little awkward, I think, later when you run into each other. We're like, hey.
Yeah. But
I can't the reference points you have.
I can now say I have worked with both Dylan McDermott and Dermot Mulrooney, who did not try to kill me, and so I will never mix them up.
Oh, yeah. Dermot is great, too. Yeah, both of them are such good actors. Yeah, that's awesome. So I have to talk. My wife's going to shoot me if I don't bring up Better Things. Better Things is probably our favorite show. We absolutely.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's completely different from anything else on TV.
Yeah.
And it's like real life. I mean, I realize that she's playing a celebrity on the show, or a somewhat of a celebrity, but it's just the stuff that she deals with and the friend group that she has. I don't know. I love it, and the dialogue is so good on that show.
Yeah, I love it too. It's really special. It's also for me, unlike anything I've ever worked on before.
Yeah.
Partly because of the writing and because of what the show is, and partly because, Pamela Adlon, who is the star and the director of every episode and the head writer and the executive producer, usually on a TV show, there's a lot of bosses. Like if you want to change anything, if you want to do anything, you've got to go through 4 levels of people. And so there isn't a lot of flexibility, but on that show, she's the boss. So you can just turn to her and say, can I do something else here? And she'll be like, yeah. We've done scenes where she'll sort of be like, this isn't working, and we'll just start from scratch, which you really can't do. So we get more, I think, trust and room to be creative on that show because she gets to make the decisions and she trusts us.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did you get the role? Were you 2 friends before, or did you audition for it?
No, I had auditioned. I'd been on Californication, and the casting director Felicia Fasano for Better Things was also the casting director of Californication, and she and Pam have known each other for a long time. So we've been sort of circling each other a little bit, but it was just a regular audition, and I was aware of the show because I was such a fan of Pam's, and so I was hoping to get to read for it. But Felicia called me in, had me, read for it, and she understands. I think she just showed Pam actors she thought she would like she understands Pam's taste.
He gets Pam. Yeah,
and so I got a call just a day or two afterwards that said, you're going to be on the show, we don't know who you're going to be yet. And I was like,
that's awesome.
Okay. And then I was only booked for 1 episode, that first episode that I did, where she's up for a role on TV and it kind of goes away. And then a week or 2 later, I got a text from Felicia on a Sunday saying, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, nothing. She said, you want to be in a scene? And yes. And so from there on out, I was kind of part of the friends group and part of the show.
Yeah, we love you on there. And I love the fact that you had that tension, because you were her friend, but you were also her agent. So that was causing some issues, and it got very tense. But then you guys kind of like, okay, we're still friends, but I'm still a little bit mad at you, that type of thing. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. I had forgotten that she was on Californication.
Yep.
Yeah. That's California. It's been a little bit. I've forgotten, but she was on there quite a bit. She was the ex-wife for the Duchovny's friends.
Yeah.
On the show, or maybe it was his agent on the show. I think. Yeah.
I have to admit I didn't watch it regularly, so I'm not sure. But I know she was on it. Yeah.
That's my job. No, but the show's so good. Does it help that there's not 26 episodes to do in a season? That's a little bit short. Of course, that's the norm for a lot of shows now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably helps Pam. I think she would lose her mind if she had to, I would love to I want to do unlimited episodes of that show. Sure. It's so much fun for me. But I do think that, when you have to do that many episodes, it becomes a bit of a marathon. It becomes a bit of not a grind, but kind of a grind,
Yeah.
It's easier when you can focus on.
Well, it used to be they've limited that. You don't have those big orders anymore for series, especially because you don't have as many network comedies.
Yeah.
But you'd end up with a lot of filler episodes back then.
Yes. I mean, I was a mom on a Disney Channel show the last couple of years, and we did 21 episodes a season. And by the end of it, we were like, I love you, but I need to not see you for a few months. I have
to go away. How did that work doing 2 shows at once? Did they overlap at all? Yeah.
Yeah. The first season, they totally overlapped. And it wasn't my problem, but my agent and the 2 producers were on the phone a lot. And thank God I have great producers and a great agent who, all wanted to find a way to make it possible. So, we worked it out. It was complicated. The second season, they didn't overlap, fortunately.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. What's the name of the Disney show?
Coop and Cami Ask the World.
Yeah. And it interests me because is you'll have to tell me if I'm right or not, but it's basically they're going on social media and asking people what they should do for every decision that they're making.
There's sort of one situation per episode usually, and it might be something like a problem they're facing in their lives, or it might be like, should I squirt myself in the face with chocolate sauce or sit on a potato? Sometimes they were serious and sometimes they were ridiculous. But yes, it was sort of like I don't even want to say YouTube style because they'll probably get sued. They went on social media and would ask questions of their fans.
Yeah, it's a very today type of show.
Yeah.
And now you're in the Disney family. So all the doors are open now.
Yes, indeed. I know it. They said to us, like, once you're in, you're never out. So right. I'm in forever.
And what else have they given you? I'm sure you've done something else for them.
Well, Better Things, is on FX, which is owned by Disney now. So I'm still on a Disney
show. You can't get away.
I did a little role in a movie called Magic Camp that came out.
Yeah.
In here somewhere. That's Disney.
It's true. It's like 90% of the stuff out there is Disney now.
Yeah.
They own everything.
Yeah, everybody works for Disney sooner or later.
Yeah. That's basically true. But you got to be an actual Disney mom. That had to be really cool. How were the kids on the show?
They were great. I don't have kids. And so all my friends kind of laughed when I got this role because they were like, hi, you thought you were going to have to spend all day with kids. And I loved it. It was really fun to get to work with them and see them grow as actors and they don't have time to be jaded. They don't have time to be divas. They're just excited to be on TV and to learn. And so we had a really great time.
Well, and Better Things has just a terrific cast of, I guess,
oh my gosh,
kids and teenagers. I love the daughters.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're just incredible.
Yeah, that's part of the reason. That show wouldn't be nearly as good if it didn't have such a good cast. And the whole cast, the friend group and everything, everybody that guest stars on there is really good.
And again, I think, a lot of that has to do with a lot of those decisions on other shows are made kind of by committee. Like, one group will say, we want this person and it has to get approved. With Pam, she just goes, that one. Every single person on the cast, on the crew, she picked. Yeah. So, and she has to spend more time with than anyone. So it's in her interest for them to be good at their jobs and nice to be around, which is why that show's so much fun.
Every episode is different. And a lot of times you're like, this doesn't even tie in. Eventually it will. But when you start it, you're like, what are they doing? This isn't how the last episode ended.
Yeah. Well, and an episode will raise a question or raise a plot point that you think you're going to see in the next episode. And then it just kind of goes away, which is a lot like life, I think. Yeah. Something will come up and you think, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing and then that's not what ends up. I just think it feels very authentic and true to life in a way that you don't see much because it's not polished and cleaned up and pretty like television usually is,
Yeah. No, yeah. That's part of the reason we like it so well. So is there a new season that's going to be coming out at some point?
Yes, we have to shoot it. We haven't shot it yet. I think they're writing it now. So, but yes, there will be another season.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Which is like what, 6 maybe? 5 or 6?
5.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, we were worried. I can't remember which season was after because it was there was a gap, and we're like, is it coming back? But then it came back. So we're okay.
And it's it's tricky because it's all her.
Yeah. Like
they write everything before we start shooting, so at least she's only doing 7 jobs at a time instead of 14. So they go through a long period of writing everything, and then they have to prep everything.
Yeah, it makes complete sense why it takes a little while.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Shameless, because you've been on there a ton too. Which oh my gosh, talk about you've run the whole gamut of families. That show.
When I got the Disney Channel job, I was like, they know I was on Nip Tuck and Shameless, right? Like, if kids Google me, they're going to find stuff they shouldn't find. They're like, yeah, they know. Okay.
You've got good range.
I guess so.
Well, how'd that one come about? How'd you end up on Shameless?
Again, it was a normal audition. That casting director, John Levy, has been calling me in for a million years. I probably read for Shameless 14 or 15 times before I got that role, which is, I think people might not understand that for actors, one of our most important relationships is with the casting director, because if a casting director likes you, they will bring you back over and over and over again for whatever they're working on. So for John Levy, he brought me in for ER, which I did, Southland, which I did, Shameless again and again until, and it was just a matter of finding the right role. And this was it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Southland, by the way, one of my favorite police shows. You were great on that.
So great.
I enjoyed that. Yeah. It ended too soon.
Yeah, I think a lot of people agree.
And if you look back, that cast is amazing. I mean, you didn't know it. I mean, you could tell they were talented, but they weren't as big as they are now.
I mean, Regina King on TV. I was on a show with Regina King. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah. That was a heck of a show.
Yeah.
But it's I find it so interesting because you've been on all of them. Like I was just reading through some of the stuff, and a lot of it I remember you on, like the Mindy Project, Major Crimes.
Yep.
You were on a few episodes of Major Crimes.
Major Crimes was the same production team and director as my first episode of Nip Tuck. So that's a situation, no one watching would know that, but that's a situation where, I know them, they know me. It was a big shooting scene. Yeah. And crying, I had to cry. So they know I can cry. They know they can count on me in a chaotic situation. So it was really nice to work with them again.
How do you make yourself cry?
It's just part of acting. There isn't really a trick to it, I think. Like if you are, hopefully you can just engage in the circumstances of the scene and you'll get there because the character gets there. If not, there are things you can do. They can also make you look like you're crying. They can put glycerin in your eyes or whatever. Right, I sort of pride myself on not needing that. I want to be able to really get there.
I mean, do you have a technique? Do you like think sad thoughts, or do you listen to a sad
song?
But
I can't tell you what it is or it'll never work again.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. No. You have to, that's private. You got to keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
All I'd have to do is think about how, if it goes bad, how I'm just going to disappoint everybody, and I would be a mess.
Oh,
that's what it would be.
I mean, everybody's, I think most people have something. It's just most people don't want to go there. Most people could make themselves cry if they needed to. Oh
my Lord, I cry at the drop of a hat. Everything makes me cry. I'm the most emotional man. If I'm watching anything with the kids or the grandkids, if it's a sporting event, something sad on TV, if something good happens for somebody, that could make me tear up.
My husband cries more than I do watching TV, and we just laugh. Like I think it's very healthy for anyone, men probably especially, to be vulnerable enough to let themselves cry.
My wife always looks at me. I'm just like, just look away. We both know what's happening here. Just leave me be.
It's normal.
Don't look at me. Were you on an episode of Justified too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Margot Martindale season. That's so exciting.
Yes, that's right. I was trying to, my son's, he's just now watching it. So I told him that you were coming on, and he said she was on Justified. I watched it when it was out, So
yeah, me too.
He's right.
And then I got to play a young Margot Martindale on Person of Interest.
Really?
And I got to meet her, and that was amazing. So that was when we were shooting Person of Interest.
Yeah.
We were on a break, and I watched the whole crew line up to say hi to her and tell her what they had worked with her on before. She is a legend, a character actor legend. And maybe people know her name now, but I think for a long time she was like me. She had a familiar face, but you might not have known her name. And to just see how excited everyone was to work with her was really, really magical.
Awesome. That's awesome. There's so many really good character actors, and a lot of times you don't know their name, but you know them because you've seen them in everything. That's really cool. That's not a bad.
I think that's a great kind of actor to be. I really do.
Well, yeah, because you'd work with everybody. That I think that could be. I would enjoy that. That would be pretty good. So of all you've probably done them all, but is there a genre that you haven't done that you would like to do? I was going to say horror, but you did some horror, I guess, if you count American Horror Story.
I would like to do. There's a cat behind me. I was like, what is that?
I saw. What's the cat's name?
I haven't really gotten to do a period piece.
Yeah.
Which would be, I have good hair for a period piece. Whoever's out there producing.
You totally could.
Bridgerton or whatever.
You could totally do it. You could do like a Louisa May Alcott that period of time.
Yeah, and I do
Bridgerton.
I'm a huge Maggie Smith fan, and so on the Disney Channel show, there was a little joke between me and one woman on the crew that I would always find one line to deliver like Maggie Smith. Not that anyone would notice, but we both knew what it was.
Awesome.
So a period piece, and I had kind of a punk phase in high school.
Yeah.
I would love to play a character. It's like, that's a path I could have taken and didn't. And so I would love to play a character who had gone down that road so I could sort of revisit that part of myself.
So what kind of punk are we talking? Who what punk are we, what movie era would we be talking? Are we talking like the 80s, the 90s? It
was the 90s. So it was a lot of Army surplus. We would like go to the Army surplus store and buy all that stuff, and a lot of like secondhand, vintagey kind of Converse, Doc Martens, black eyeliner.
Yeah. So it wasn't a goth phase; it was a punk phase.
No, we laughed too much for it to be a goth phase. It was like a alt. At the time, we called it alternative. It was like a college alternative.
Yes. That's right.
Army surplusy, Doc Martensy kind of situation.
What kind of music were you listening to?
I was into a lot of REM and Ramones and Smiths, Cure,
And what kind of makeup did you wear?
I powdered my face with baby powder. So I wore like blood red lipstick, black eyeliner, and no blush or shadow or anything. And I powdered my face with baby powder. So I was like, if you took my picture, I was like a sheet of paper with two holes poked in it. And I liked it. And listen, I have no wrinkles. Avoid the sun. Be a weird vampire punk when you're a kid, and your skin will look beautiful when you get old.
It looks great. What'd your parents think of this phase that you were going through?
I'm not sure I know what they really thought. I know that my mom at one point wasn't crazy about it and made some comments about what I was wearing. And my dad clearly had decided that his strategy was to tell me he thought it was great.
He figured that would make you not do it.
I do remember at one point, I'm trying to remember this was about coffee. I was a coffee drinker in high school, and he tried to talk to me about that. He thought I was drinking too much coffee. And I was like, listen, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. Let me have my coffee. And he was like, okay.
Yeah, sure.
That was the end of that conversation. But yeah, I remember I was going to the Jersey Shore at night, which is what we did where I grew up. And I was wearing like bicycle shorts, Converse, high tops. And I remember I had this black crushed velvet crop top with like long fringe down to my knees.
Nice.
And I came out of my room to go hop in my friend's Camaro to go down to the shore. And my mom was like, "You're going out looking like that?" And my dad said, "I think she looks sharp." And I was like, "Thanks, Dad." Like, it's hard to rebel if your parents are fine with it.
Like, who is using all the baby powder?
Fair point. That was fair.
We all go through some type of nonsense though when we're growing up. There's a lot of phases.
I do remember saying to them, like, you should be glad I'm externalizing my rebellion, because the kids in my school who are wearing Benetton are the ones you should be worried about.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It was true then.
Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah, at least yours was out there. They could tell exactly what was going on.
Yeah. I had no secrets. I was just being weird on the outside.
Oh, shoot. That's pretty good. So the last one I wanted to ask you about was, I think, my oldest, my daughter, big Gilmore Girls fan. So she says you were on Gilmore Girls.
Twice.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said she was awesome on Gilmore Girls. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was on Gilmore Girls as two different characters, which is notable to me because most shows don't let you do that.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
They were one of the few shows that would let you do that. And so I don't remember what seasons they were, but I was in once early as like a young mom who was breastfeeding in the diner in the restaurant that they all hung out at. I might have said 2 words. I was mostly in the background for the characters to feel uncomfortable. Like Luke, who owned the restaurant, was like, oh God, what's going on?
Come on, Luke.
And yeah, right. Wouldn't hold up today. And then a few years later, I came back as the Lorelai Gilmore's accountant. So we had a meeting where I was telling them they weren't making enough money at lunch. They had to stop serving lunch. And Melissa McCarthy got all huffy and angry. So I got to work with Melissa McCarthy, which is super exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I never. I've seen a few episodes, but I never watched the show. But I forgot. Yeah, she was on that. That's kind of her big break.
Yeah, that's one of those shows that has become like a huge, even bigger now.
Oh yeah, it's cult now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big one that people remember. You never know what shows people are going to remember you for. It's really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Why didn't they just? I mean, if you were just somebody kind of in the background breastfeeding, why didn't they just make that the same character? You went back to work and into the accounting firm or something.
I don't think we had maybe I was the same character. We just didn't have time for my backstory. I didn't have time to explain. I've seen you before.
Us fans, we'd recognize that. We'd be like, hey.
Yeah.
Apparently that accountant hangs out in that diner all the time.
I should have. If I had been a little more confident, I would have.
See, so you could come back because they're still making those every once in a while.
Yep, accountant Ann could show up again and tell them they're losing money.
It's not working out. I meant to ask you earlier, you got interrupted with your cat. What was your cat's name?
Oh, we have 3. So Harper is behind me. So we have our oldest cat is Gabby.
Oh.
And then we have Tallulah and Harper, who we adopted together in December.
Oh, that's nice. So are they related, or were they just 2 cats that you adopted?
They were just we knew we wanted to adopt 2, so we went to this great shelter, Best Friends in LA, and they had never met, so we're very lucky that they like each other. I think they think they're related now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. LA's got a little bit of a cat and dog issue.
Yeah, we have lots of them.
It's great that you rescued a few of them. That's really cool. Mm-hmm. I love cats, but I'm definitely allergic to them.
Yeah, my mom is
miserable. Too. Yeah, just miserable. My all the kids have them, and I can only be in their house for a very short period of time, and that's if I take like Benadryl or something. It's all.
My husband and I are actually not deathly allergic, but somewhat allergic too. We've just gotten used to our own cats. But if they scratch me, it swells up and itches. Yeah. And I had to see an allergist like a year or 2 ago. And I said, listen, you're going to tell me I'm allergic to cats. I know that. I'm not getting rid of my cats. I'm not kicking out of the bedroom. And he was like, okay, I get it. I hear this all the time. So, we just deal with it.
Take this.
Yeah,
I'll give you a quick story before I let you go. I took,
please.
when my wife and I were first starting to date, I took her
Mhm.
to a high school friend's New Year's party, and we only been going out for a few weeks. Well, we were sitting on the couch. It's probably 9 o'clock, and I was starting to just everything, my eyes were swelling shut, and my nose was starting to run. I was like, what is happening? I didn't see a cat or anything. So I'm trying to hang in there. Well, a cat walked behind me, like behind my neck on the couch. So there was the fluffiest cat I've ever seen. And so I was like, well, there's the issue. And so I'm popping Benadryl just like crazy. I probably had half a dozen Benadryl, just trying to,
Wow.
I'm trying to impress this girl, and I'm on this thing. And finally, at about 9:30, I was like, we got to go. I was like, that's all I can stand. We got to go. So we went back. At that time, I was still at my parents' house. So we went back to my parents' house, and I conked out. I'd had 6 Benadryl. I was asleep by 10 o'clock. So she watched the New Year's ball drop with me snoring there on the couch beside her. And for some reason, she hung in there with me. I was like, I would not have blamed you.
That's a good sign.
I was like, that was not my best performance.
I'm impressed. If I take 1 Benadryl, I'm out for like 36 hours.
Well, normally I can survive 2. I might get a little sleep, but yeah, I was just trying to. I didn't want to screw the date up, so I would never do that now, because good Lord, that's a lot of Benadryl.
Just like, I'm leaving. See, this is a very good lesson. Don't go to New Year's parties. Just stay home.
Just stay home. That was it. And I mean, we probably weren't there for 45 minutes, maybe. It was ridiculous. Yeah. And I brought her into a place where I knew everybody, but she didn't know anybody. I was like, why in the world did you stick around with me? A mystery. She just felt sorry for me. Meant to be. That's right. Well, Rebecca, this has been awesome. I knew it would be. I was excited to talk to you. You're one of my favorite actresses. I just think you're the best.
Oh, thank you. This was such a nice way to spend an hour of this quarantine. It was really great to talk with you.
Well, thank you from one introvert to another. We can actually spend a little time together, and we didn't. We weren't sighing or trying to get off of the Zoom, so we did pretty well.
We did pretty well. Now we can both go sit in a quiet room by ourselves for a couple hours.
That's right. So we purchased a building to put the studio in, so it's close to the house. So I'm 5 minutes away, but I go to the studio, so I'm like going to work. So then when I'm done, I can't go straight home. I gotta go sit down. I gotta decompress for 20 minutes or so. Then I'll go.
Yep.
So my wife she'll be saying, when you coming home? I'll be like, half an hour. She knows what I'm doing. I'm just sitting.
I hear you.
That's the secret to success in a marriage. So you have to understand each other.
Yeah.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Yep.
So before you go, is there anything else that you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
I would just say I've done a couple episodes of Mom, the TV show Mom, this past season.
I loved you on Mom.
Go back and watch. Thank you.
Yeah.
And other than that, I would just say go back and watch Better Things on Hulu.
It's awesome.
And get ready
that's a great binge. Yeah.
It is. It's like, especially for now, they're talking about comfort TV, something that's not gonna, make you too sad or angry. It's easy to watch. It'll make you feel good.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny,
Yeah.
It's heartwarming at times. It's just a good show.
Yeah.
It's just a good show. Well, that's terrific. So where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on I'm the Rebecca Metz on Twitter, Instagram, and I just joined TikTok. I have like 14 followers. So
hey, good for you though, because I got on there only because I thought they were going to get rid of the ability to get on there, and I was like, well, I better get me a profile just in case. But I'm too scared to do anything with it. So good. That's 14. That's pretty good.
I wasn't going to do anything, and then my friend was showing me, she was like, look at all the cat videos. I was like, okay. All right.
There you go. Okay.
I'm there. I'm on TikTok for the cat videos, but you can see it. You can see it. I post a few cat videos and baking videos on TikTok so far. So if you're into that, follow me on TikTok.
Well, that's got to be better than like 98% of TikTok.
Depends on who you ask. A couple of like the young people have been like, why are you verified? And I'm like, I'm famous. Trust me. You don't care, but somebody thinks I'm
famous. A big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Are you on Instagram?
Yes.
Is that the Rebecca Metz?
Rebecca Metz everywhere. Everywhere that I am.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous that I didn't think to put a "the" in front of my name.
I had to because somebody had already taken Rebecca Metz.
Oh,
that's why we do that. That's the only reason.
You didn't try to buy him out? Hey.
I can't be bothered. I'm sure she deserves it.
Well,
too much work.
If you put a "the" in front of it, it sounds cooler anyway.
That's right. I'm the real one.
That's right. It makes you very important. That's a good thing.
Yeah. That's what I tell myself.
Well, Rebecca, please come back. Update us on what you're up to. Maybe around the time the new season comes out. I would love to. That would be fun. Would love to have you back on for part 2. Part 2. We'll formally introduce the cats. That's right. That's right. That's the whole episode. You don't even need to do anything but hold the cats up. That'll be the episode. That's totally doable. All right, hold on one second. I'm gonna hit pause. That was Rebecca Metz, and she was awesome. Love that. She's such a good actress, and we just barely scratched the surface of all the stuff that she's done. She's been in everything. I wrote a few down that I didn't even get to talk about, but All Rise, This Is Us. I can't believe I didn't ask her about This Is Us. Bones, Grey's Anatomy, NCIS, Criminal Minds, The Middle, Parenthood. She mentioned American Horror Story, Weeds, Southland Justified, Prison Break, Boston Legal is another one I should have asked her about. King of Queens, ER. I mean, she's been in all the shows, and just a terrific actress and a really great person. That was fun. I feel like I got to know her and her better half a little bit on that interview. So that was fun for me. I enjoyed that. Thank you guys so much for joining us again this week. You keep coming back. We definitely don't take that for granted. So appreciative of that. If you haven't already, please go to YouTube, Meisterkhan Pod, and subscribe. We'd appreciate that. You can check out the website, meisterkhan.com. We're on Facebook under Meisterkhan, Twitter, and Instagram as well under Meisterkhan. So please find us there. Until next time, bye, everybody.